Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. All right. I want to pivot. I want to talk about FAU in Arizona. That was such a fun basketball game. It's a shame that anybody had to lose that basketball game. And I hate when people say that. I hate that I just said it, but it really is a fact that was thrilling to watch. I'm sure it was even more thrilling to experience. Double overtime. I feel bad for the kids on both teams that had to go home and try to catch flights to get home and scheduled it for like 2.5 hours after the game. And then they had to rush to the airport to be able to make sure that they weren't delayed. But McCall, I got to go to you first on this one. Our FAU Owls, 96-95, double overtime. Janelle Davis, 35 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals. Jalen Gaffney out of nowhere, 20 points, 5 boards, 4 assists. This was, to me, this was the statement, right? Like everyone kind of knew who FAU was, but I think that they needed this kind of a win, first ever win against the top 10 team in program history to kind of make that statement like, hey, look, remember us? Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, I thought there was a point in the game too. I think it was like 7 minutes to go in regulation, and FAU turned it over straight times. John L. Davis missed the front end of a 1-and-1, and then they came back the next possession and turned it over again. And during that stretch, it was, what's happening, what's going on. All of a sudden, Arizona, they drill a three, and it's kind of like, is FAU reeling? And this is what FAU has done, and they continue to do, is they just find a way to respond. And that's what happened last year in the NCAA tournament. They always found a way to respond. Like, think about this. Okay, in this game, they were out rebounded, shot 13 less field goals, shot less free throws, and found a way to win the game. Because at the end of the game, Elijah Martin and John L. Davis made plays with the game on the line. And here's the other thing about FAU. You know what you're getting from Elijah Martin, John L. Davis, and Vlad Golden. And there's been times where Elijah Martin, who missed 2 months over the summer and in the fall camp of practice, he's still trying to find his rhythm. But for the most part, those have been your three best players, and you know what you're getting from those three guys. And they stepped up with the game on the line, and Vlad Golden went down with a knee injury in the game. And you're kind of like, who stepped up? Rosado steps up in that game. It's the same thing. But if you look at Nick Boyd, Greenlee, or Gaffney, one of those guys always seems to rise to the occasion. And tonight it was Gaffney. And he was outstanding in this game. He made plays, hit an unbelievable pass to find Rosado late in the game. I think it may have been in the second overtime where he found Rosado on an unbelievable pass underneath. Rosado gets fouled, goes to the line. But it just seems like someone else. You know it's going to be Elijah. You know it's going to be John L. Davis, who played like and is one of the best guards in the country. Vlad Golden has played like all season, one of the best bigs in the country. And then Greenlee, Nick Boyd, Gaffney. Which one of those guys steps up? Witherspoon. They have depth. Like Doug talked about, teams struggle with their depth, and there's not many deep college basketball teams. This team is deep, and it seems like someone else always finds a way to step up if another guy's not having his night. And watch Nick Boyd on the bench. Nick Boyd is celebrating everyone's success, and he's still trying to come back for an injury. And tonight it was Gaffney, and that was a huge win for FAU. And still, Caleb Love, misses a layup, down the stretch of the game. Arizona had their chances, but man, that was a pro Arizona crowd out in Vegas, and FAU finding a way to win that game. That was a statement win for them, for sure.
It was a
Go
great
ahead, Doug.
basketball game. It was a great basketball game. It's just one of those where you're like, oh, that was fun. Run that back, right? Can we run it back? No, we got a flight to get. No, run it back. Like, just you guys play as much as you want because it's really fun. Instead of getting into the FAU stuff, because one, Matt knows him like the back of his hand, and he's right. The only one thing I would add is, what are we missing? Like, what are we missing in college basketball? And that's a high recidivist rate, And you take John L. Davis, right? Here's a kid who grew up in Indiana, right? Gary, Indiana, and scored a ton of points at, I think, a charter school, and lightly recruited. 3 points, 8 points to a star, and then comes back, right? So their player development obviously is outstanding for the kids themselves, but also within their program. Those guys have developed. They've developed that cohesiveness. They have what everybody wishes they had in college basketball. Like, just give me 4 or 5 guys that are back from last year so I don't have to teach my culture every year. Whereas Arizona's, Balo's back and some other pieces are back, but relatively new. I was actually impressed by Arizona in something they did in the second half to get back into the game, which is they pressured defensively. I think, Matt, you talked about it early on, which if there's been a knock on Tommy, or if you go back to when they were at Gonzaga, before they got to the Final Fours, they're great on offense, but they don't really challenge you defensively. I thought today was a game in which they challenged FAU, and FAU looked a little tentative for a while. They were looking like, whoa, hold on now. You're not just going to let us run our stuff. And I would also say that John L. Davis is a guy, and Matt, you pointed out, they have multiple guys that you feel like could take over a game. In watching Arizona this year, it's probably the thing that's missing. Like Davis thinks he is, but I mean, I don't know how many times we got to see a high volume, low efficiency make to go, I don't know if he is. So it could point out what Arizona is missing in a dude, right? Whereas John L. Davis and others seem to be the dudes for Florida Atlantic. Nonetheless, great college basketball game. And it's one of those where, when all of us are doing Chicken Little Sky is Falling with this sport, that one goes like, well, it's not as good as it used to be. It's really screwed up, but Arizona, Florida Atlantic, that was fun. That was really, really good.
Yeah, think about it. It's Arizona and FAU gave us that high quality of a basketball game on national television on Big Fox on the Saturday before Christmas, and everybody was locked in. Listen, thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.